Hello everyone, it's me again. Today I will recap the movie The Witches. The movie is adapted from the famous book. With a combination of fantasy elements and profound messages about family love and courage, the film takes viewers on a dramatic and suspenseful adventure. This fat boy was very greedy. So he was tempted by the evil witch with chocolate bars. The witch summoned a bar of fine chocolate and gave it to him. When the boy approached, immediately boy's body was convulsing, his ears blew smoke, and the boy flew up. In a flash, don't see the boy, only a fat mouse was seen. The wicked witches also kept trampling on the boy. It turns out the evil witches created a potion that turns people into mice instantly. Just 3 drops were enough to turn a normal person into a mouse. So can these children escape the hands of this evil witch? Please watch today's recap. Hero boy was a very happy boy until his parents unfortunately died in an accident. After that, boy went to live with his grandmother. She was a kind, compassionate woman who was especially good at cooking. Thanks to her love and perseverance, delicious meals, and special dances, boy gradually calmed down a bit. She said that life is sometimes unfair, but we can learn to accept it. Although he opened up to his grandmother, boy still could not integrate with his new friends. Therefore, his grandmother gave him a beautiful white mouse. Boy liked it very much and decided to call it Daisy. Thanks to that lovely mouse, boy became happier and happier. He could freely play and dance with his grandmother. But neither of them knew that a dark force had appeared outside their house. His grandmother's health gradually declined. One day, while taking boy to the supermarket, grandma complaining to the shop owner about the wilted vegetables. Boy was alone choosing something for Daisy. Suddenly a woman appeared. She gave boy a candy. From her arm came a snake. Boy was extremely scared. Just when boy was about to be bitten by the snake in the face, grandma appeared and the witch disappeared. Boy quickly ran away, returning home with grandma immediately. That night, he tremblingly told grandma that he had met a lady wearing gloves, a hat, and with an evil voice. Grandma immediately confirmed that she was a lowly evil witch. Boy thought it was just a story at church, grandma told him. When grandma was little, grandma had a close friend, they did everything together. Until one day, grandma saw with her own eyes that friend received candy from a stranger. She had a mouth that reached from ear to ear. Because she was so scared, grandma ran away, but at night, her friend returned. She thought nothing had happened, until the next morning, her friend suddenly transformed. Her 2 arms disappeared, her legs only had 4 fingers, and her head kept pecking. She screamed in fear, but when she ran outside, she had completely transformed into a chicken. Grandma witnessed the whole scene, and told her friend's family, but of course no one believed her. Her best friend was then kept in captivity for eggs and meat which were used to make the legendary fried chicken. At the end of the flashback, she suddenly realized that her family had been targeted by a witch. Grandma ran straight into the secret room where the herbs were kept and cast a bad hexagram. This hexagram shows that they needed to flee immediately. Grandma immediately contacted her cousin, who was the head chef of a high-class hotel, to stay there temporarily. The next morning, the 2 of them set off. Finally, they arrived at a luxurious hotel located on the Gulf of Mexico. Boy did not forget to secretly carry Daisy in his pocket. Here, he met a fat guy, who seemed to be a rich kid. The 2 greeted each other. As soon as the grandmother and grandson entered the elevator, a group of powerful, luxurious and beautiful women appeared at the main entrance. Despite the hotel's rule of not bringing pets, she still carried a black cat in, and asked very strange questions, such as what if there were mice in the room. When the manager replied that he would send all these mice to heaven, the woman was extremely pleased, telling the woman that, perhaps this time everyone would encounter many mice. If there were, the manager would kill them. So don't worry. At night, outside in the storm in the bedroom, grandma told boy a story. Witches were not really women. They were just demons in human form. If you look closely, you will see that the corners of their mouths extend to their ears, and are usually covered with makeup. They always wear gloves, because witches only have claws, and one ugly foot that looks like it was chopped off. They are also bald, so they often wear wigs even though it will make their heads festering. In addition, they have unusually large noses to sniff out children. After hearing this story, boy was extremely scared. Outside, the evil black cat had been observing the 2 of them for hours, then climbed up the house pillar to tell its owner. The woman took out a mirror to look at her appearance. In the mirror, she was an ugly old woman. The next morning, boy dutifully ordered breakfast for grandma. All of them were the dishes that the 2 of them loved. After that, he took Daisy out to play. He was curious about the party of the Child Protection Association. He met his friend from the day before. This little friend was Bruno. But before he could talk much, Bruno was called by his mother. Because he was dirty, his mother pinched his ear and dragged him back to take a bath. Left alone, Boy decided to go into the hall to visit. Boy tied a rope to a chair to train his pet mouse. At this time, all the lights were suddenly turned on. The manager and the ladies entered. They quickly escorted him out and blocked the door with a leg bone. Boy had now crawled under the wooden floor to peek out. The Supreme Witch still smelled the strong childish scent around here, but she thought she was hallucinating, which ordered the sisters to take off their gloves, and they immediately revealed 3 sharp claws. Next, they took off their shoes. They had no toes, except for Witch, who had a middle finger. Finally, they took off the wig that always made the witch itchy. They felt extremely comfortable. At this moment, Boy realized that he was in big trouble, but he could only lie still and hold his breath, watching Witch dig out a worm from her head to eat. The boy's heart immediately felt like a herd of horses were running. It turned out that the stories told in fairy tales were all true. Witch had just stood up on the podium when she had a fit. She blamed the witches for not working effectively, and that last year's results were extremely bad. As soon as she finished speaking, the complaint softened, saying, as long as they all try your best, she can be happier. Otherwise, they will be punished in the future. Before the meeting ended, Witch said the last sentence, that whoever had any opinions or suggestions could speak up, and she would try to fulfill their requests. One witch stood up and said, her want a raise. She was immediately electrocuted by Witch, her bones rotting. This was the end for those who made unreasonable requests. The whole hall was cold, and that scene scared Boy so much that his soul flew away. Only then did she reveal her plan to destroy all the children in the city. That each witch would open a candy store in each town to lure the children. She also took out a bottle of green poison. Soak this instant mouse-turning poison in candy. Just 1 drop would turn a child into a mouse within an hour, and 2 drops would be half an hour. If 3 drops, there would be a mouse immediately. An hour ago, she had given a fat kid a premium chocolate bar, soaked with a drop of the poison, and asked him to come here so that the sisters could admire him. Just as the whole group was praising Witch to the skies, she was enjoying the admiration from everyone. Witch smelled something pungent. Everyone silently moved aside. She used her strange nose to sniff. It was this familiar smell, the distinct smell of children. She turned the wooden floor upside down, but there was nothing underneath. At a time of danger, Bruno arrived. The innocent boy didn't know anything, and walked in without a care. The witch used a premium chocolate bar to call the boy to her. While Bruno was still hesitating, she conjured 6 candy bars. The greedy boy immediately ran over. At that moment, the clock struck 5. Bruno's body kept convulsing. Bruno flew up like a deflated balloon and fell down with empty clothes. Just as Witch said, the poison had taken effect. Bruno had really turned into a fat mouse. The witches took turns trampling on the boy. Boy couldn't just watch Bruno die without saving him. But Boy didn't know what to do. The white mouse Daisy suddenly spoke up and said that she will go save him. After saying that, Daisy crawled through the hole and ran to save Bruno. But with Bruno's oversized body, Daisy had to pull it through the iron plate for a long time. However, with this method, Boy's hiding place was exposed. The witch dragged the boy out, and then the other witches pressed down and restrained him. These witches wanted to give him the potion to turn him into a mouse. He was determined not to open his mouth. It wasn't easy for Witch to let him go. She dropped 3 drops of the potion into his ear, with her delighted face. Then Boy's body kept convulsing, then flew into the air, and transformed into a small mouse. So Boy had completely transformed into a mouse. Standing in front of Boy Mouse were all eyes looking at him. Boy Mouse ran away, but before he could run a few steps, Witch held him back. She wanted to hit him with a very big hammer. At the crucial moment, Daisy once again attacked. Seeing that Boy was about to be trampled to death, Daisy ran over and bit Witch's hand to save Boy escaping. The hammer immediately hit Witch's hand, and because of that, the 3 mice ran. But the witch did not let them off so easily, because her hand could stretch out more than 10 m. Unexpectedly, Bruno the mouse had short legs and a fat body, so he ran extremely slowly. Luckily, they fell down and escaped from this place, but Witch's hand got caught in the wind turbine. Her newly repaired nails were ruined immediately, making her scream in pain. The 3 mice stopped to talk. Then, Boy learned that Daisy used to be a human, but had turned into a mouse not long ago. She was afraid that others wouldn't believe her, so she hadn't told anyone about it until now. After thinking for a while, Boy suggested that they go find him grandmother, because she was the only one who could help the all group. They came to another vent, and climbed through the kitchen. Bruno was too fat, so he had a hard time getting through. Then, they went to the main hall, quietly ran back to the elevator door, and asked a woman to take them to the 7th floor. But getting to her grandmother's room was a problem. Boy quickly led his friend to climb over the broom to the wall, then made a mouse ladder, and reached up to ring the bell. Daisy almost fell down, but Boy quickly pulled her up. The three of them had just escaped when they were caught by the cleaning lady, and had to use all their strength to run away from her broom blows. Just as Grandma opened the door, the frightened cleaning lady shoved Grandma into the room with 3 mice. Grandma's horror, Boy slowly walked out and said he was Grandma's grandson, then told her story about being bewitched by the evil witch. Grandma picked up Boy and placed him on the tea table. Boy introduced his new friend Bruno. Daisy also told her true identity. For months ago, when she had just escaped from the orphanage, she was given a candy bar that turned into a mouse, and was eventually captured and sold to a pet store. Despite being turned into a fat mouse, Bruno still asked for some grapes to eat. At this time, the rat exterminator arrived, so Grandma had to prop up her bag and let the children crawl inside. The rat exterminator set a cheese trap, and Bruno almost died. After discussing, based on the information they got from the witch meeting, Witch's room was below Grandma's room. Everyone went out to the balcony, and just in time saw Witch chilling the medicine bottles. Waiting for Witch to go out, Grandma put Boy in a basket of wool, then used a cord to wool him down. Boy ran quickly inside, pushed down a pillow that was used as a cushion, jumped on the tea table, but the potion was too heavy for the mouse's body. Boy threw it on the ground, but before he could pull it away, Witch returned. Boy hid under the table, saw Witch open a safe full of money. While she was not paying attention, he ran out, climbed into the basket of wool, but halfway there, Witch suddenly grabbed him. Grandma tried to act like she was fine, saying that she dropped the basket of wool. When Witch saw Grandma, she immediately felt very familiar. Fortunately, before Witch realized, the hotel manager came to find Witch again. He gave her a cage to keep her pet cat and was quickly chased out. Everyone went into the room. Grandma tried to make an antidote for the kids. After pouring in a lot of herbs, they held hands and prayed, but in the end, the purple turned black. Grandma was sad because she couldn't save her grandson. Boy comforted her. Being a mouse was good, no need to do homework. Grandma hugged and kissed him and promised to take good care of all 3 of them. Then, Daisy suggested that they should destroy the witch's meeting, to prevent them from harming other children. Boy thought of a way to put the potion in the witch's pea soup. So the 3 mice split up to do the task. Witches loved to eat pea soup. He immediately took the potion to the kitchen to find the soup, but it was too far away, he couldn't do it. So he used the ladle as a slide, carelessly dropped everything into the soup. To see if the witch could cure her own poison, Boy easily escaped in front of the chef. Outside, Grandma saw Bruno's parents, and went to ask to talk to them privately, but his father was a jerk and refused. So she decided to bring out the gray mouse, and said that it was their child. Bruno's mother stood up in fear, thinking that Grandma was crazy, while Bruno was busy eating and didn't say anything. Grandma asked Bruno why he didn't tell them he was Bruno. Bruno replied that it was because his father hated him talking while eating. At this time, the soup without garlic was on the witch's table. Grandma then brought 3 mice to sit next to they. After performing some strange rituals, they started eating. On this side, the 4 of them sat waiting for Witch to eat the soup, but unfortunately, she saw Grandma. Finally, she remembered that this was her failed prey in the past, so she went over to provoke her. Witch said that she remembered Grandma was the friend of the girl who was turned into a hen by Witch. She tilted her head to look at Grandma. Taking this opportunity, the kid stole the key to her room. Suddenly, a witch screamed, immediately turning into a mangy rat. Very quickly, the rest of the people suffered the same fate. The whole room was in an indescribable chaos. The guests were terrified and ran away. Outside, the rat exterminators also rushed in to smash and smash, while the witches who had not yet transformed did not hesitate to kill their comrades. As soon as they stepped on a mouse, they themselves turned into mice. She jumped on the manager and bit him on his sensitive spot. At this point, the 4 grandmothers and grandchildren were satisfied and left, using the key they had obtained to sneak into Witch's room. While the grandmother was trying to destroy the medicine, Grandmother accidentally dropped a bottle on the floor. The children crept in to get it, and saw that Witch had returned, while the grandmother was still unaware. Witch took off her shoes to catch the thief, but she did not know that this action would harm herself. She was furious and smashed everything, and intended to use her hideous hands to dig out the grandmother's heart. Witch also knew that they had put medicine in the soup, so she did not eat it. which raised her hand and whispered a few words in her mouth, preparing to kill the grandmother, not knowing that Daisy and Bruno had pushed 2 mousetraps close to her feet. Boy carried the potion bottle and stood on the trap and shouted. Daisy and Bruno pushed the trap onto her only toe, which screamed in pain. At this moment, Boy rushed straight towards Witch, stuffing a whole bottle of purple potion into the evil witch's mouth. Boy clinged Witch's wig and landed safely on the ground. Immediately, her whole body trembled, and with a bang, Witch flew onto the roof, then fell to the ground. The accessories on her body also fell off, almost crushing Boy to death. Which he transformed into a mouse, which was still very ugly and cruel, with no intention of letting the children go. Of course, this cruelty did not last long, because no matter how ferocious Witch was, she was still just a small mouse, which was locked in a jar, and a stack of books was placed on top of it, so there was no way out. She cursed inside. On top of that, the children outside provoked her, but Witch could do nothing. Boy brought the key to the safe to his grandmother. Inside was full of money, and a list of all the witches in the world. With the medicine they had, the 4 of them decided to go everywhere to eliminate evil, so that the evil witch will no longer exist. Before leaving, the grandmother did not forget to release Witch's cat. It quickly knocked over the pile of books and killed Witch. So the grandmother and the 4 mice pushed the suitcase full of money out of the hotel, and also generously tipped the staff. The hotel staff had never been tipped so much by guests, but for the grandmother, it was sharing the joy with everyone. The grandmother also took Bruno to find his mother, but his mother only knew how to scream and scared. Therefore, the 3 lovely mice decided to live at the grandmother's house. She installed a whole toy system for all 3 children. They spent all day playing happily, without worrying about anything. The grandmother was also very happy, having 3 grandchildren by her side every day. The film ended with a funny dance of the 4 grandmothers and grandchildren. The film brings humorous, suspenseful, and touching elements, while conveying a message about family love and courage in facing evil. If you find it interesting, please give me a like and a comment about this movie. Especially, please subscribe to the channel to follow my movie recap. See you again, my dear friends.